Thank you for allowing us to be at this. My name is Hannah Wolf, and this term I will be completing my bachelor's in renewable energy engineering as well as environmental sciences. I also have minors in chemistry and applied mathematics. I will be continuing my studies to finish my master's of science in renewable energy engineering, hopefully by June of 2022. And I'm originally from Minnesota, but I have lived and traveled all over due to my dad's occupation in the military. And then this is my partner.
Yes, hello. My name is Mario. I'm a junior in mechanical engineering with an emphasis in robotics, controls, and automation. But I'm also minoring in applied mathematics, and I also have a minor in applied physics. I was born here in Klamath Falls, actually, and I've been raised here for most of my life, other than kind of living out of the country for a few years.
That's awesome. I just want to ask, 1 degree wasn't enough for both of you? You had to go get like 4?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Little bit
No,
of overachievers.
no, it sounds awesome. That sounds like I really like to hear from people that are passionate about what they're doing, as you seem to be. How did you get into Invent Oregon?
So really, Oregon Tech offers this business competition. It's called Catalyze Klamath, and through this competition, it's kind of to kind of merge the gap between business and engineering because our school is kind of technical, but it also provides the business side as well as engineering. So through this competition, we saw it as a great opportunity to kind of get our product out there as well as learning the basics to marketing and kind of get that relationship with the community as far as like the business side. And because of our product, we were just really excited to get its name out there.
And due to our successes within Catalyze Klamath, we were actually offered the ability to go to Invent Oregon and continue on our state-of-the-art exciting product. So that's how we are currently in the Invent Oregon process.
During the competition at OIT, was there someone who supported you or mentored you along the way?
Yeah, thankfully we had Hallie help us there. She really helped us get in Catalyze as well as many of the professors at Oregon Tech. Um, they kind of brought it up. That's one of the things they usually talk about during meetings as far as like senior project or even master's project. They really encourage you to get involved in the community through this competition because it allows our community to see what we're working on at the school, and it's an opportunity to get funds.
The Klamath Community College also offers a really good business program that they combine with Catalyze Klamath, that they had a specific person work with us throughout that process on the business side of things, since we're both engineering students, to bring in that marketing perspective to our project.
That's amazing. It sounds like they helped you out quite a bit along the way. So talk to me about Electerro. What is Electerro?
So it's really common when you've driven past clean energy systems like wind turbines and solar panels and thought, wow, those look really cool, but are they actually good for the environment? And it makes you wonder about the negative impacts that they have to the ecosystems. And unfortunately, you're right, there are those negative impacts. So our product, Electerro, is a green energy system that is aesthetically pleasing and also tries to combat these negative health effects that are happening to environments and their native organisms. So our product challenges these by introducing a structure that is naturally similar to a tree and is pleasing to community members and the environment that it's imposed to. So the structure has a unique branching system that on that branching system has about 2 kilowatt powers worth of energy through photovoltaic leaves that are architecturally similar to magnolia leaves. And at the top of it is also a vertical axis wind turbine. And all of this seamlessly works into the tree so that it has that true natural tree aesthetic. And it also has environmentally considerate products within its composition.
This sounds like an amazing idea. I wonder if you can talk to me a little bit about, you mentioned negative health effects, and I know it depends a lot on the type of renewable energy resource you're using to get energy from the environment. Can you talk a little bit about what those negative impacts are?
So like you mentioned, it does really depend on which clean energy resource you're using. I'm going to highlight wind energy and photovoltaics or solar energy, just because those are what are harnessed within our specific product. So wind energy specifically, it's tied to the protruding blades. These cause impact problems for migrating birds, native insects, any kind of organism who is walking past it, or if the blade falls. A lot of wind energy blades are very large, and as they protrude from the system at high wind speeds, they can break. So those are the main problems with wind energy. When you're looking at photovoltaics, they actually have a lot of optical issues and heavy chemical leaching issues. So as the panel begins to degrade, it releases various heavy metal chemicals such as zinc, silver, copper, and silica, which are the most common that construct a photovoltaic panel. And these are introduced to the soil and surrounding plants that then migrate towards the common water sources. And this poses a really large problem within agricultural communities and communities who rely on aquifers, because once this water is contaminated, there's no going back. So those kind of issues tied with optical issues of the reflection on any kind of native organism, including humans, are what the main problems we're trying to assess with this project.
That sounds great. Thank you for those details. I think I want to follow up a little bit with that. And this might sound like a little bit of an obvious question, but why is this such an important issue to address?
This issue is so imperative to address due to the fact we are on a clean energy movement. We are so happy to know that we are moving towards clean energy resources in our current market as a whole, which is really exciting for our environment. But we need to remember that renewable energy is meant to be clean for the environment, meaning that when it is introduced to the ecosystem, it should hold that clean ideology, where we continue through creation to utilization to degradation, that we have clean ability within that environment and we're not ruining the imposed environment, because that is counterproductive to what our green energy resource is meant to do and why it is being used. So thank you for that question. I love that question. That is a great question.
I always feel like it's important to put things in the scope of what we're trying to do. And I do think like what you're talking about is very important. But I also want to broaden the lens a little bit more. And maybe Mario, if I could hear from you on the issue of why is like sustainability as a whole important to you?
Well, yeah, sustainability, we think of the future, what's going to happen in the future, what's going to happen from 20, 30 years from now. And it's personally, within like mechanical engineering, I'm thinking of like, I personally have passion for aerospace and going to the moon and to Mars, but we have to keep in mind that, our roots lie here on Earth. And so with that perspective, it's knowing that we want an Earth that we can live on, that are like, we can have like the next generations here for the time that we're here. And we want to make sure we have an Earth that is livable. I know that it's awesome to think about maybe potentially living on the moon or maybe even going to Mars, but the reality is we need to keep our home safe and clean.
I love it. Thank you. Let's pivot a little bit. These answers are amazing. Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate what both of you are saying and some of the ideas that you're articulating, very close to my heart personally. But let's pivot a little bit to the competition itself. Like there is the idea. There are always big ideas that are powering projects like this. But then there's also implementation. And there's a lot of negotiation that happens between the ideation phase and the implementation phase, because you have to negotiate with the economic reality that you're a part of. What are some of the biggest challenges that you two foresee bringing your product to market?
I guess mainly due to the nature of our structure, one of the biggest challenges will be implementing the various systems while reducing its environmental impacts. It's just kind of complicating the way that we're trying to tackle these problems. We don't want to have a negative impact on the environment, but it's really making sure, because as we can see, our competitors do sometimes have these negative effects, as mentioned before. So that's really kind of the problem, and that's like what's hard to tackle, is making sure that we don't do what our competitors do while making a new system that hasn't been made before.
And I guess that feeds into when we're talking about our competitors and the market feasibility of our project, is maintaining that market feasibility while keeping the priorities that Mariana mentioned, because we need to make sure we are cost competitive to the foundation of where we're looking to implement Electerro so that it actually becomes utilized.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. I kind of want to follow up. We know that the price of clean energy is becoming competitive with fossil fuel based sources, but I also know that yields in something like solar and wind power are far less than the efficiency of, say, an internal combustion engine. Um, what kind of sacrifices did you have to make in your design for it to become palatable? And what kind of things did you have to think about during the design process?
So, unfortunately, we had to understand the fact that we cannot put as much solar energy on the tree structure and still make it aesthetically pleasing as we initially planned. This is where we did have to compromise on the 2 kilowatt power output that we have, or we're at right now. And of course, the structure, when you are comparing it to combustion engines, it seems like it doesn't have as large as an energy yield as the clean energy resource. But what we always have to remember with clean energy is once you buy the actual product, it's free. Once you have that initial investment, the energy that you're getting out of the resource is free. Unlike combustion engines, when you have to be continually adding money to the system to be able to get what you want out of it. So, with a few compromises on mainly the aesthetics portion of the structure, we're still able to get something that is feasible for a common community member.
Awesome, thank you. So let's say that we just got done with the finals at InventOR again. Looking back, what do you hope you will have gotten out of the experience?
Well, really, this is actually Hannah's master's project. And so the reality is we did start this as she started it as her master's project to make sure she could get this done and really implementing this new kind of invention out into the market. So the hopes is to have our actual prototype, a completed prototype that works, and we make sure we test it. We have several phases that we would like to test within this product. And we'd also really be prepared to start a company. And so we're hoping that by the end of this journey, we'll have we'll have everything that we need as far as a business plan, as I mentioned before, the working prototype, and just a better understanding of how to implement our product into the market.
Amazing. And one last question for you. What is the most important thing you want the judges to understand about Electerro?
I feel as though, like Mariana mentioned, that unlike our competitors, we're not looking just for a product. We're working to start a legacy by inventing Electerro. We're hoping Electerro is the first in a line of products that innovate green energy systems and challenge the current renewable energy market to make headway on cleaner renewable energy systems for cleaner ecosystems. We are working so diligently to not only produce one amazing product, but also build a company from the ground up. We've worked with lawyers and other entities to ensure that we're doing the best in our favor to have Electerro be a dream product for a cleaner and healthier future.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk with us today. It was an absolute pleasure to hear you talk about these issues. I have
Thank you.
so much hope that things are going to start to change. I've been waiting for decades for this to happen, and it's nice to see some people who are on the cutting edge of these ideas.